Hello, and welcome to our signed edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and for this review, I'm digging into my first foreign title. Yes, I'm watching my first foreign language film from Spain, and I'm very excited to talk about this one because this is a movie that I seen trailers. I saw trailers and ads on so many other titles, i.e., the Friday Night Lights movie. It was on the DVD section in the previews and the October Sky DVD. But the movie I want to cover is another one from Focus Features, and this movie is wow. So the movie I'm talking about is a little-known film. This was put out by Focus Features. In the movie, I'm gonna probably butcher these names because I'm bad with the Spanish language. But it stars Gal Garcia Bernal, Roger del Sana, and my Maestro, directed by Walter Sales. Now, when it came out in Spain, it was the Delso Motorcycle something. That's how it was pronounced. But when it came to America, it was called The Motorcycle Diaries. This is what it was called. In America, it was called The Motorcycle Diaries. And this movie was directed by Walter Slales. It was oddly enough produced by Robert Redford. Yeah, Robert Redford produced this film because when this movie came out, it played at Sundance, and Robert Redford was so pleased with it, he decided to produce it to get released in the United States. So that's pretty much what it is, and I'm going to tell you right now, this movie is a masterpiece. Yeah. Let's talk about Motorcycle Diaries. So, Motorcycle Diaries follows two men. Ernesto Gervais, who went by the name of, he eventually would get the nickname Shy. So Shy Guerrero, and his friend Alberto Garnedo. Again, I'm butchering names. So basically, it follows these two men that it starts out with them as they get this motorcycle. So the two men they're in Spain, and they're becoming brothers and decide they got to go trek around this country. So the two men say their goodbyes, reminisce, and they gotta head up onto the motorcycle. So the movie feels like a road picture. So the two men are on the motorcycle, they're bonding, they become only like brothers, and it's them on this motorcycle. Each of them take turns riding this motorcycle. The cinematography is really good. So it starts out with them in Spain, then eventually they head to Argentina, where they meet some other some other people there. So they meet them there, and then they gotta head to Peru, and they gotta just trek down there. So they're in Peru, they meet some other people, and throughout the whole picture, it's not just them, but they meet other people, and literally it's just them becoming the best of friends. And they go from the summer, the spring, to winter, and they're struggling with this motorcycle. So they keep like wrecking and sliding off it, and they're not balancing. The motorcycle has no brakes, so they're struggling to get there, and craziness happens with these guys. Like they go through a lot on just this beat up motorcycle, and they bond with each other, and right then and there you're in for the ride. You're like in the passenger seat, and you're in the ride. So basically the men are like they're bonding. The two guys are like bonding, and there's one scene I did like in in Argentina. So they go to like some this party in Argentina, and basically they're there and they're just trying to sort of make it through, and just that's pretty much what that is. So yeah, and I really liked Motorcycle Diaries. Though that scene, so they're dancing, and the woman slips, and then the people are not happy with them. So what do? The whole everybody there just decides to lynch mob. Basically, they chase them out, they lynch mob them, and they're trying to get there. They're opening the door, they're panicking, and they get up on the motorcycle and they're trekking away. Hold on a sec, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize. My computer screen went black. Sorry if that's in there, but just let's just resume. So the two men are just they're going for medical school to become doctors. So they eventually get to where they are, and it's just so powerful. Eventually, the motorcycle doesn't work, and the one guy has to put down his motorcycle. He has to like say goodbye to the motorcycle, and it's very sad. I mean, there's times where I felt like I was going to cry, and there's also times that made me happy. I love these two men. I feel like I'm right there in the action, especially the gorgeous cinematography. So I don't want to go much detail in it. Yeah, that's right. Road trip across Latin America. So yeah, this is always set in Latin America. So they go through, like I said, Spain to Argentina. I believe it's Argentina, and then Peru. Also, it makes you feel bad. Like, there's one particular scene that I'm just going to say Shay, that's his character's name. So Ernesto, or Shay, however you want to say his name, but Ernesto decides that he sees all these migrants, and he's telling the one guy, they're thirsty. These people are thirsty. So he gets into a heated argument. His buddy Alberto has to try to hold him back, so he intervenes and tells him about that, and then all of a sudden they drive off, and then he picks up a rock and says, son of a bitch, and then chucks that rock at that car and at that truck, and the guy just drives off. There is one complaint I have. The movie is all subtitled, and for some weird reason, there's a scene where Roberto and Ernesto are in a truck with cows. There's two guys that speak. Obviously, the whole movie's in Spanish with English subtitles. So they're speaking in Spanish, and you can't understand what the guy's saying until Ernesto starts talking. Then, is it Ernesto? Yeah, Ernesto. When Ernesto is talking, then they're speaking Spanish, and then they're talking, and then you see the English subtitles. So, I don't know if that's a glitch in this copy, or I probably had to go to the subtitles in the captions language section. So that's one big complaint. So sometimes subtitles don't have it. I thought they spoke in English, but no, the whole movie, like I said, the back of the DVD says Espinal and Francesco with English and Francesco subtitles. So, yeah. This movie also is 2 hours and 7 minutes, but they fly by real fast. I've watched 2 hour movies that feel way too long. Here at times it can be a little slow, but eventually it goes through it. It's really good. So when they give up the motorcycle, then they had to go on foot. And that's kind of almost where the movie loses its steam. But honestly, with the writing so good and the performances are great and the cinematography is awesome, that's minor compared to that. Also, weird enough, like I said, the movie's directed by Walter Salers. He would go on. the guy would also go on to direct. The only other movie I know I've seen this guy, I didn't know he directed it, was the 2006 Touchstone film Dark Water with Jennifer Connelly. That's his only English language film. And I did watch a video on the Criterion channel on the guy. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. I didn't even know he directed Dark Water because I thought Dark Water was just mediocre. This movie is, like I said, so good. There is F-bombs, which is crazy for a foreign language film to have the F word. So yeah, it's tame. Other than that, it would have been a PG-13 film. But yeah, once it gets right to it, it just flies by really fast, and it is really good. The performances are just stellar. There is no bad performance in this movie that I can even think of. The scenes where on the motorcycle are great, and when they had to get rid of the motorcycle, I kind of almost got teary-eyed. There is lots of scenes in this movie that I got super teary-eyed. I just felt invested in the film. With a movie like Motorcycle Diaries, you definitely feel like you're right in the film. You're right there with these two men as they basically go from motorcycle, then they go on foot. They become doctors and they help all these people. And it makes you kind of feel bad. Like I said, that scene with all the migrants, you really do feel bad for these because without getting much of that, I said again, not all people from Spain are bad people. Not all people from that country are bad people. This movie made me think a lot about what a film is. And it makes me look at a film the way I look at a black and white movie. A foreign language film is similar to a black and white film. You get invested so much, and I'm glad I'm diving into more foreign films because I don't really... if I had to dive into foreign films, this is the one I wanted to dive into. And I don't really have much to say about this. The ending, powerful. I'm not going to give away how it ends, but it's very heartbreaking, and I didn't even know that this was based on a true story. This is set in the 50s. This is set in 1952, I do believe, but it focused on Che before he became the revolutionist in Spain. And if you know the story of what happened to Che Guevara, then you know much about it. But this is during the time when Che was a young man. And a performance from Gael Garcia Bernal, who was also in a film called Ye Tot Mamba. He would out, and weird enough, he would go on to star in his first and only English language film, and that Shyamalan's Old. So he would go on to be in that movie. I'm like, I did not know that. I don't think there's anybody else famous, but wow. These two men, fantastic performance. This is a movie I feel like should have got a foreign language, nominated for the foreign language category. This movie did come out in 2004. I probably already mentioned that, but for a movie I've been wanting to see all my life, ever since I saw trailers. I remember seeing a trailer on the Friday Night Lights DVD, and that's what got me to see it. Then I watched the trailer again on the October Sky Special Edition DVD, and it was like, I gotta cover this movie. I cannot stress this enough. This movie is great. Aside from minor flaws, but they're mostly in the technicals. Normally if a movie has technical problems, I bump it down whatever amount of points. But with acting this good, with directing this good, with cinematography that's great, and the score is stellar. Like when they get to the scene where he's in the water, he's literally jumping in the water and like swimming his way through the end. His friend thinks he's a complete idiot for doing that. So he swims across there, and his friends just like cheered him on. The scene where they're playing rugby, I do believe, is great. The two men are playing rugby on their like the break time, and I'll show you the scene right there. Right there. You might see a photo in the video, but right there proves how good that scene is. I wasn't bored with any second. So that's all I had to really say about this. There might be a couple things I missed, but for the most part, I think I mentioned everything. But like I said again, if you don't like reading subtitles, then you might not want to watch this. But if you can just visually enjoy the film and for what it is, please see Motorcycle Diaries. This movie is great. It is amazing for what it does as a film. And it makes you think of the way I look at films, the way I look at a movie, and Focus Features just knocks this right out of the park. I'm really happy I got to watch this movie. It is just amazing from start to finish, and I can easily highly recommend this movie. It is amazing for what it is, and like I said, some people might prefer English dub in movies, but honestly, this movie does not. The problem with foreign language films that they're English dub is they do that whole mouth thing like that. So if they're talking like this, I'll even demonstrate. Yeah, like that. If they're talking like that while they're talking, it looks really bad. It's like watching a bad kung fu film. So this movie does not need English dub. But I digress. Check this movie out. It is stunning. So yeah, I am going to give the Motorcycle Diaries an automatic 5 out of 5. Normally I would have gave it a 4 out of 5, but the movie is great. I cannot stress this enough. That is why I gave the grade what it is. It's just, even with the technicals over that, you could probably fix it by going to the captions and language section, just hit subtitles, and you probably will see it there. But yeah, 5 out of 5. Stunning film. I can easily tell you right now, this movie right here is definitely going to make it on my 10 best list at the end of the year. I cannot highly recommend this. It is an automatic must-see. If you really want to dive into movies from another country, start with Motorcycle Diaries. It is so good. Amazing performances. It's just great, from stunning performances, cinematography, directing. Everything is A+. Everything is just that good. And I cannot highly recommend it enough. So yeah, that's my review of the Motorcycle Diaries. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content of the channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to get all my video notifications that I post up there. I'm also on Letterboxd, guys, so you guys can check me out there as well. And yeah, and that's it. Check out Motorcycle Diaries. You will not be disappointed. Though, the best movie I saw this year, going to be in my 10 best list. So, at the end of the year. So, and that's it. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.